I just totally effed up all of that. Here you go.
My name's Jacob Moore. I'm gonna marry your daughter.
It's not who you think he is, Jake. He'll hurt us.
Why don't you start calling me Gordon? You want to be part of the family business.
You got my attention. But when you don't know what you're doing, it's fatal, Mr. Moore.
It's about doing the right thing. It's about the game.
I did tell you, Jake. I did warn you.
It's easy to get in. It's hard to get out.
Is that a threat?
Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Unpopular Reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are doing Wall Street. Well, the second Wall Street. Not the first one, but it's gonna be a conversation. It's gonna be interesting. I'm joined by Frecklesenei and the executive controller, the executive consultant. Just a second. We should just change your name to Just a Second. But anyway.
I don't know why we would do that.
Yeah.
My name is the Executive Consultant. That's all it should be. And please make sure you understand, Don't Adjust Your Television says I am back on Thursdays for one night only, filling in for Mike Knoxx. And I hope I can do him justice because he's such a large presence.
Word up. Word up. So this movie was a sequel to the first Wall Street movie, and the first Wall Street movie came out in 1987, and then this one came out like in 2010. So it was certainly a long distance for a sequel. However, long story short, in the first one, the main character, Mr. Gekko, ended up getting arrested for securities fraud. And, there was a whole debacle and all of this stuff with that. And now all of a sudden the movie begins with his little daughter dating a Wall Street guy, which is hilarious. The woman always goes after the father, which is hilarious. You know what I mean? But it also shows Mr. Gekko getting out of jail. And it shows him in a state where he did a whole bunch of time, and it seems like he has learned his lesson from that time. So now before I continue to rant and tell the whole movie, what do you guys think?
Did he really learn his lesson?
Well.
I mean, first of all, I actually enjoyed this one. I said this, and I said this actually backstage. And also, we just want to let you know that Rated R just took over the entire Wofpack. Just want to point it out. Anyway,
Rated R. This review. Rated R review.
So Rated R review just took over this.
Nice.
That's my computer is freezing like crazy and going haywire. I can still hear me. So anyway.
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean, you just look mad pixelated like a 90s video game. But that's all right, because we can.
I don't know what's going on right now. Like, my stuff is like really crashing out, like Jacob I too. on a Friday. But anyway,
That's good.
But anyway, I definitely enjoyed this movie. This movie was actually entertaining. I love Shia LaBeouf, so I'm almost gonna watch any movie that he's in. To be honest, it's kind of like my childhood in a sense. I'm young. The reason why I said that for me, I was like, I don't think he learns lessons because towards like the middle of everything, it was like he learned his lesson, but he's the business side of things of like trying to get what he wants. But in this aspect of love, which I can commend, but you know, still the tactics that he went by, he didn't really learn his entire lesson.
You know what? I love what you said there. All said there because I heard 75% of it, and the 25% sounded like it was fluctuating well with the 75%. So I give you that, right? But let's talk about it, right? This movie, I've never seen the first one. I've only seen the sequel now, right? And then I was making the trailer for this, and I was like, you know what? This actually was pretty good. So when Mike Knoxx gave me the call, he was yelling at me. And he was like, Chris, I can't be on. Can you give me those on Thursday? I was like, sure. Calm down. Take the caps out. And I said, I'm going to do it. And I did it, and I watched it, and I'm like, okay, not bad. You know, and Shia LaBeouf is not from my childhood. This guy must be wet behind the ears. If Shia LaBeouf is from his childhood, I swear he was only like 5 years younger than me. But fine, cool, whatever.
Holes, Transformers, like
trash. But that's another review for another day. What I'm talking about is Shia LaBeouf in every movie does not know how to learn his lesson. And this was one of those movies. How he ended up getting back with the girl, I have no idea. This girl is a glutton for punishment. This girl is not who you want your daughter to be raised as, right? They should have never forgiven this man. By this man, I'm talking about Ant-Man. They should have never forgiven him for what he did. He stole money. He used and abused his daughter. He used and abused his son-in-law. Everybody was a piece of shit in this movie. There was nobody in this movie. There was no to root for in this movie. There was nobody redeemable in this movie because everybody was dick. Thanos was a fucking dick. Perry White was a fucking dick. Everybody's a fucking dick. The best thing about this movie,
Thanos was the biggest dick in this movie. Like he was.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Shot.
The best thing
when people say pause, then everybody thinks about gay stuff. Stop saying pause.
You said somebody was the biggest dick. Okay.
Now I'm saying though, but you know what? But it's all about context. Okay.
First of all, you have no right to say anything on pause because what you just said 5 minutes ago was all pause worthy.
You talking about the biggest dick in the room?
Hoes is trash. Hoes is a great movie with a great book and a great soundtrack and one of the greatest songs on Disney of all time.
Thought that book was I could throw it in the trash. Look, all I'm saying is the best thing about this movie was the quote that Frecklesenei said is something. If I'm having a bad day, I'm okay. If I'm having a good day, I'm okay. I might start using that, right? But
no, he killed himself after that.
Well, you know, he threw himself in front of a train. But didn't he live in New York City?
Well, yeah, I mean,
if he lived in New York City, I understand why he would throw himself in front of a train. Look, all I'm saying is
always the New York jokes.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Always trying to travel to New York.
I don't know.
But then always got a couple of rat jokes and some shit. You know what I mean? Listen, go play with your iguanas, all right? Shoot fly and go have fun.
If you live in New York, I can see why you would throw yourself in front of a train. That's all I'm saying.
I can see why you throw yourself in front of the wind if you lived in Orlando. But shoot fly with all that damn hate.
We have hurricane parties. Look,
yeah, clearly you do.
Yeah,
y'all have a party for everything, especially even when COVID happened.
A lot of people are actually the original crash outs, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you didn't see a movie where we threw ourselves in front of a train, but that's a conversation for another day. The bottom line is,
I bet you there's a movie where you're tasting a twister.
There was nobody. The only person I wanted to root for was the people who that dumb doctor scientist that was trying to create energy, clean energy.
Yeah,
the only one I was able to say, oh, he's a nice guy, but he was an idiot.
That's everybody was a villain.
I mean, you know what though? But I don't think that this movie had heroes and villains in it. I think this is. Yeah. I seriously think this was made or this was inspired by what happened when Obama first got into office. where he had to bail out the banks. This movie and a couple others, and I think that that's one of the things that probably inspired this movie, because a lot of the talking points were pretty similar to what went on at that time. I feel like he had to do it, and it's unfortunate because a lot of times if these things don't get funded, then it trickles down and it hurts a lot of people. But then at the same time, there's always somebody who's just in it for the skinny and not necessarily for the people or to create things or to help things and things like that. And this kid, he had a great idea. He was funding something that was great. That's something that could be revolutionary as far as creating energy at the time. And I found that whole thing to be interesting because, the other thing, like when you start investing and getting into things, like, if you have the ability to invest $100 million, hey, you know what I mean? But even if you just invest in $5, like, you get to a point where you start doing research about certain things and where you could put your money in and things like that. And I remember at that time, everybody was saying, oh, invest in Microsoft. Should have done that, but I didn't, you know what I mean? But hey,
my dad feels the same way about Apple.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I guarantee you there's somebody that's 70 years old that feels the same way about IBM. So, yep. It's one of those things that you can look back on and regret. And then, or you could just try to make smart decisions at that moment. And I think that this movie encapsulated that kind of thinking between all of the characters, whether it was Ant-Man, whether it was Thanos. Like, it's funny how we're calling them that. But or even Shia, like, they all had that like money never sleeps mentality, which kind of came from the first movie. Now, another thing that I realized that I was happy to see was Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen had a little cameo in this movie, and he was one of the main characters in the first movie. And they had a little tit for tat. Because the other thing is just like they have this strange ability to like curse each other out, and smile about it. Yes. and like
that was so awkward.
Like, smiley, and but yeah, they just have the ability, and like the way that they make threats is very interesting. You know what I mean? Like this whole, I think that Shia was the only one who like expressed emotion throughout the whole thing.
In Greg's defense, if you were in prison, you in jail for this long amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of emotions that's gone. Like you went from blowing, BMFing, all that type of shit, to you're locked up. You done got caught, and I actually, like I said, I saw the other movie, saw the first one, and like this man was this man was really powerful. Like if you see the first, if the people out there watching, if you get the first one, you will see how powerful that man really was. They showed him pretty bad and messed up, and Money Never Sleeps. But
you know what though? Yeah, you know what though? I think that this movie was such a contrast from the first one in the sense where the 80s were vicious.
Yeah.
Like the 80s were a time where there was like no regulation. Like no, just like
errors make or break.
Facts. Like no level of regulations whatsoever. No. I mean, that shit had Ronald Reagan all over it. Like there was no checks and balances, nothing. The guy did everything that he could. And mind you, and that spoke a lot of what went down during that time. And the whole notion of greed is good. Like, oh man, I would not be surprised if like the Defense Department funded that movie straight up. Like Yo, because that was just something else. And then this thing to just come back with it and have this guy be this ruthless investor and then come back and be ready to be a grandfather. I thought that was nice. You know, I thought that at the end.
I will admit, I did like when he really wanted to become a grandfather. He wanted to become a better father, especially at the end of the movie. I did like that.
I appreciate it too. It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Godfather Part 3, where you just like get old and you want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you want to just, reconcile or whatever. So, and mind you, him bringing that CD to play that sonogram, I thought that was cute. I thought that was it. That was a smart move. You know what I mean? To get the tough guy in the hitter. You muted, right?
Just a second. No. Just a second. You over here, you're giving props to these evil characters. Like, I don't understand why. They were evil.
Because humans are complex, man.
It was evil. It was not nothing complex. It was nothing complex about it. He was evil. He's a piece of shit. He needed to get thrown in jail.
Everybody can understand why Thanos had to do the snap. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand why Thanos had
exactly.
Hey, let it be up to me.
You will understand why Thanos was kind of half right. Just like, and
you could do that to the United States. I have a whole bunch of states I would get rid of: Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky. I hate to say Tennessee.
No. Kentucky still got bourbon. Kentucky got bourbon. Kentucky got bourbon.
We can move that bitch. True. Kentucky needs to go.
No. We just get rid of. We make some laws in Kentucky where we got to get rid of it.
Doesn't work for Arkansas. They're still marrying their cousins.
I would trade Arkansas for Puerto Rico.
We got it. What's up?
Huh?
All right,
I don't know how y'all do things on Thursday.
Oh, right, okay.
So we said we could give a thumbs up. Well, it's already 8:30. So we said we could give a thumbs up. We already explained, what's our favorite part. So
we give a thumbs up. No, we don't. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I give this movie a thumbs down. It is a thumbs down for me because there was nothing redeemable about these characters in this movie. I need one redeemable character.
Oh my God.
No. You know the only redeemable character? The only person I felt sorry for in this movie was me while watching it. Because I had to watch it for 2 hours, 13 minutes. 13 minutes. I thought it was almost over, and I had to watch it for 13 more minutes. And that's why. Let me tell you something. When I went to and I would tell you something. When I went to the chat because I'm watching this movie, I'm like, who the fuck picked this? Because I didn't know who picked it. Because I didn't know who was going to get the curse out.
That's why you asked that. I was wondering why he asked that. He was like, "Oh, who picked it?" I'm like, "Bro, did you not read the chat?" And he was like,
"No, I don't." So I should have known it was Vic. Because let me tell you something. When I used to be on Thursdays, Vic was picking some stinkers. Right? And you know what? I see the trend continues. That's what I felt when I was watching this movie.
The movie could be good, and now you're going to continue to hate. That's all right. Wall
Street, money never sleeps. Well, I can tell you who wanted to go to sleep. This guy. I got a show to do. What y'all give this movie?
Well, since he gave a brown skin thumb because darkness and energy be corralling him, so that's why he picked dark. We're gonna go into the light side, and I give it a light skin thumbs up because first of all, we know the characters are bad. That does not make the movie bad. The acting, the cinema, the music, everything else is better than the characters. Overall, you have to look at the actual criteria. Speaking of criteria, Newbery Medal Award, National Book Award, Boston Globe Horn Book Award, American Library Association. All those won by fucking hoes. Don't you ever think that shit was trash? Anyway, this movie gives me a thumbs up. This movie gives a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Booker T style.
Oh, yeah, man. That gives a thumbs up for me too.
You know what? You should have known he was going to get a thumbs up. This man just sat here and said, "Hey."
So anyway,
I like Shia LaBeouf.
All the time, this guy has to come in and hate. Right? There's a little thunderstorm for him.
Well,
Charmaine must hate too because she said thumbs down.
Hey, Charmaine, she's just following you. But That's all right. That's all right. This movie was good. This movie was good. We had a good time. So now Mr. Just a Second has to leave. So I guess we'll just wrap it up because, you know.
No, I mean, what y'all reviewing next week?
What are we reviewing next week? Who picked the movie? Who picked the next movie? Because we did Wolf of Wall Street and we just did Wall Street. So
I don't know what they do here on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't.
That's a damn lie.
Stay with us. Stay with us. Find out what we're reviewing.
What's the next?
Find out what they're reviewing on Federation Tuesdays, which I'm on if you want to see somebody with some class. But Federation Tuesdays, and find out what they're reviewing next week when Mike Knoxx comes back. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
Just tell me one thing, Burke.
And look at the way you dress.
What do you expect me to wear, Armani suit?
No, but you don't have to speak and dress so...
Black?
Well, yes, black.
You are straight up whiter than the whitest white man. Then he meets Natalie.
I'm kicking it alive. You ever been to Harlem?
You never been to Harlem before?
Hey, home dudes. What is going on? Excuse us.
It's about moving up, making the cut, suiting up for success, and making an investment in love.
This is love. I'll tell you something, man. That ham is cooked, glazed, and ready to be sliced.
Tommy Davidson, Joseph C. Phillips, and Halle Berry. Strictly Business.
Check us out next week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be doing Strictly Business. That's a good time. That's going to be a good movie. All right.
So glad I'm off Thursdays and I don't have to review that movie. I'm just very glad.
You never says anything positive.
Yes, I do.
You need a couple of sunflowers.
There was an end of Wall Street movie. It's called The Credits, and I got to turn the TV off. That was positive.
Of course. A nice way to spin it from a negative thing. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this evening.
Let me tell you, Strictly Business is so bad, Freckles froze.
That's just because Freckles probably got, down south internet, but that's okay.
He is from Georgia.
That's it.
Hold on now, y'all in the same boat, Florida.
I never had this issue, so.
No, I don't have no deal what's going on. Like, this is kind of weird.
You live in Atlanta. It's fine.
Hey, we ain't Atlanta. They're both Trump. So.
I mean, hey, my home state let me down too. Well, that's because I voted for Kamala. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I did. I voted for her last week.
Well, I'm happy to live in the Northeast. That's all I'm gonna say. We got some type of protections. But anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this evening. It was a good time. Wall Street is a good time. I'll probably pass by Wall Street tomorrow. All right. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Like an out credit?
Just hit end stream. Hit end stream. Just hit end stream.